Prince Charles pays tribute to his mother in his first statement as monarch. Prince Charles. Jane Barlow, WPA Paul/Getty Images. Prince Charles paid tribute to his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, in his first statement as monarch on Thursday evening. The death of my beloved mother, Her Majesty the Queen, is a moment of profound sadness for me and all members of my family, the statement said. We deeply regret the passing of a dear sovereign and very dear mother. I know his loss is heartfelt across the land, to the rich and Commonwealth, and countless people around the world. During this time of sorrow and change, my family and I are comforted and strengthened by knowing the respect and deep affection with which the Queen was so widely held. Charles, 73, immediately ascended to the throne following the death of Queen Elizabeth II at Balmoral Castle on Thursday afternoon. She was 96 years old. Clarence House has confirmed that the new king will be officially known as King Charles III. Related story. Tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. Stepaway Stones, Elton John, world leaders, and many more. Shortly after the Queen's death was announced, British Prime Minister Liz Truss said, "Today the crown passes, as she has done for over 1,000 years, to our new monarch, our new head of state, His Majesty King Charles III." Queen Elizabeth II is survived by Charles and her 3 other children, Andrew, Anne, and Edward, along with their grandchildren, including Prince William, who is now second in line to the throne, and Prince Harry, who lives in the United States. Her husband Prince Philip, with whom he was 73, died in 2021 at the age of 99. One of the most respected heads of state in the world, Queen Elizabeth II, was born there in 1926 and was the first daughter of King George VI and became monarch of the United Kingdom after the death of her father aged just 25. Her coronation took place in 1953. She remained in office for 70 years, overseeing the reigns of 15 prime ministers and historical events including the Suez Canal scandal, the British miners' strike, the Gulf Wars, Britain's entry and exit from the European Union, and more recently the COVID-19 pandemic. Just this week, Liz Truss travelled to Balmoral to meet her, so the Queen could officially ask her to form her new government, an important British constitutional act. She succeeded Queen Victoria as the oldest government in the UK, monarch in service in September 2015, and the second longest serving monarch of all time in the world after Louis XVI of France. Charles's biggest goals for his reign are in the environment sector. He has even received the nickname Climate King. The many changes and challenges Charles faces. Charles could be the king of climate change, but it will also have to deal with how the institution of monarchy fits with Britain's place in the world and with the very idea of being British. As experts have pointed out, the British monarchy is a political institution and ought to also be above politics. The royal family takes this very, very seriously, even as they use their influence to try to advance Britain's goals of. The key ethos of the House of Windsor is that they are there by accident of birth and have to perform these functions which are generally incredibly boring, which they don't have much of, but they feel it's important to keep the system of government alive, to keep it going, said Philip Murphy, Director of History and Politics at the University of London. And therefore, yes, there is a duty to the British nation and the British people. Charles, Prince of Wales, in September 2021. Max Mummy/Indigo/Getty Images. Charles will also take over as head of the Commonwealth, a disparate group of nations linked to Britain by very tenuous ties. As experts have said, Queen Elizabeth invested in this role as leader of the Commonwealth and, by passing it on to Charles, showed that she wanted it to continue. But many historical calculations have not been made, particularly when it comes to Britain's imperial history and involvement in the slave trade. Some countries that still recognize the monarchy, like Barbados, have recently decided to remove Elizabeth as head of state, and others, like Jamaica, are likely to do the same. If King Charles can, the right should, retaining his role as head of the Commonwealth, is one of the questions he is likely to face. He was visiting Barbados just as he was rid of the Queen, a sign that the monarchy still sees value in these Commonwealth connections. But as Newman put it, much of this notion of the Commonwealth came from the Queen herself. Once she's gone, I think this might fall apart. That could be destabilizing, at least in the way Britain is looking at itself and sees itself and its place in the world. This is particularly serious as the UK seeks to define itself post-Brexit. The Conservative government has promoted in the post-Brexit world an idea of a global Britain, in which the UK asserts its power and influence outside the European Union. That means trade deals with the rest of the world, but also his strong support for Ukraine. Finding out what role the Commonwealth will play in British foreign policy might also be part of it. And then there's the question from Britain itself. The monarchy has traditionally played a role in strengthening these British ties, between England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. But Brexit has strained some of the ties within the United States Kingdom. It revived the question of Scottish independence.